Starting back at the manor house, it's time to do a proper tour. One slowed down a good bit. Again, we're going down the winding path that's cut into the side of the mountain, reinforced with cobblestone in order to stop it from causing landslides and slipping down the mountain. Landslides, like this one, used to be a problem with the foundation as well. Now off here to the right, we have the bridge that goes to the village, where we actually trade our wool and other goods. Moving further into the village itself, we have the loomer's hut. This is where all the fabric and all the clothes in the entire village is made, and it's right next to the sheep for ease of use. Going back outside, you have the brewery, off to the right here, along with these sheep. We have yellow and white. This brewery turns our apple juice and grain into a cider that we can sell on the open market. And up here, we have the grain fields of the village that will need to expand a good bit. Over here, we have the clay kilns that actually produce the pots that we jar apple juice and other things in, and the clay pit digging out river clay to use in the kilns. Moving back into the main part of town. Over on the left here, we have storage for all the wool and raw materials, as well as a transport cart for dyes and wool. We put our dyes in bundles in order to sort the colors. Over here's the bread oven and the dyer's hut. You can see some white dye here, along with the field of flowers he grows for each dye. We have most colors. Over here's the jarrer's hut, where we actually contain apple juice and apples that have been candied in the jars, as well as a cooking pit to turn apple juice into sugar. And moving up here towards the mines proper, we have a pretty extensive cave system. So, we use an iron winch that's been upgraded all the way from wood, with 6 anvils to offset the weight of the ore to drag it up to the surface. Down there, connected by iron brackets, is the actual platform that's raised up, and all of these ores come from down below. Moving to the outside of the town, we have a few structures. We have the casting blacksmith, where you pour iron blooms into here, and it smelts it down into liquid sheets for chainmail and blocks over here. You can see the black coal inside. Over here is where we actually produce the iron blooms. Moving back a bit, we have the root cellar, where we store our food, and especially the candied apples for winter. We've got a good stockpile set up. More than enough that we can sell off the excess. Up here, on the edge of the town, is the Lancer's Workshop, where we cut down logs to produce wooden lances that we cap with copper cones as our primary weapon, as we use horses instead of bows. Over here we have the baker's house and the granary. Right behind it's the oven, and in this granary we store both wheat and bread above. Back here is one of the oldest builds, the tavern and bunkhouse. For now it's used to house travelers now that we have some proper housing, and to feed the town proper. Moving behind it, we have the apple orchard, where we actually produce the apples. We use the main tree, but these will come to bloom soon enough. We have a high-ranking official coming to take over, so it's more decorated than usual, and over there's the Apple Press. Moving back towards the center of town, we have our cooking center, where once a day we cook an entire spit roast of meat to be split amongst the town, and we can move it around. Over here is our original tent that still houses the few chickens we have. We'll need to heavily expand our chicken infrastructure to keep up with the rest of the town. Up here we have our horses, our main use of transport, and also our weapons in war. With horses combined with lances, and this practice field out here that separates between the houses, we can practice using copper lances for battle. And with the entire village equipped with chainmail and copper lances, we can force a victory with sheer numbers in most cases, and at the very least defend against raids. Over here's our new houses. There's 7 in total. Over there's the captain's, and over here is mine. As you can see, every house is furnished, ready for the new arrivals. That's the end of the tour.